I think all of us NBA fans know who Tacko Fall is. He was such a fan favorite and such a fun player to watch, with a lot of chatter around him and a little bit of hype as well, especially in 2019 and in 2020 with the Boston Celtics. But ever since then, and especially in 2022, no one's really been paying attention to Tacko anymore, and the chatter and hype has kind of fell off a little bit, both with actual NBA teams not really giving him a big chance, and with fans just not really paying a lot of attention to him anymore. But what I'm going to go through in today's video is, like the title says, what actually happened to Tacko Fall, where he's been in the last couple years, what his game is actually like, and why I think he does deserve to eventually get a chance to play some consistent minutes in the NBA, and if I think that chance actually will be given to him anytime soon. So as we know, Tacko Fall is one of those players who is pretty much given the opportunity to play basketball on the elite level because of his absolutely insane height. He's listed at about 7'6" as of right now, and 311 pounds, so he's definitely strong as well, unlike some other very tall players we've seen in the NBA. And he's kind of one of those players that we see every now and then who's given the opportunity because of their size, but really doesn't have any basketball skill. They're really just there because they're an extremely abnormal, very tall height. Now, Tacko did play pretty well and showed some promise of having some pretty decent basketball talent on both ends of the floor in his time in college. And in his senior year with UCF, he used that height to his advantage a lot. He averaged about 11 points per game on 75% from the field, along with about 7.5 rebounds per game and 2.5 blocks per game, only in about 25 minutes per game. And despite this and his incredible height and unique abilities, he didn't get drafted in 2019, so he was undrafted then, but did sign a 2-year deal with the Boston Celtics. And then this is where, as we know, the hype kind of starts for Tacko Fall, and he really becomes a fan favorite in Boston. Every time he gets checked in the game, the crowd is going absolutely insane. He shows some promise in Summer League and the G League when he was playing there, and people start to think that because of his amazing height and how he does have a little bit of good attributes with his actual basketball skill in some components of the game, he could end up having a significant role with the team later in his career. But he didn't end up getting a big opportunity with the Celtics in his time there, and after that he ends up signing a 2-way deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2021. And this is where the hype kind of starts to fall off a little bit. I don't know if the fans in Cleveland really liked Tacko and adapted him as much as the fans in Boston, and it didn't help that he was in the G League for the vast majority of that season. There were some times where the Cavs were a little bit banged up as a team, and Tacko had to come in and play some games at the NBA level, and he even ended up starting a game. That's how injured the Cavs were at one point. But he didn't even get that much of an opportunity with the Cavs either, even less of an opportunity than he got with the Celtics. And then pretty much after the 2-way deal expired with the Cavs, he doesn't really have many opportunities here, although this year and just recently he did join the Utah Jazz's Summer League team, and this is where he starts to get a little bit more attention after his free throw technique video goes a little bit viral and people start to see him again. But there's really no news or chatter or anything about if Tacko's going to get another opportunity this year. He is technically a free agent, but it looks like teams are falling off on the hype train of Tacko Fall a little bit, and they're not looking to give him another opportunity. He definitely could sign another 2-way deal, and if he keeps playing the way that he is in the G League and shows a little bit more development with his actual basketball skill, he may be able to get an opportunity. But honestly, as of right now, it's not exactly looking great for Tacko, and there's definitely not as much promise as there was in 2019 and 2020 when he was with the Celtics. Now, with all this being said, in my opinion, I still think that Tacko should get a chance to prove himself at the NBA level. I mean, with what he's done in the G League and Summer League, we've seen that he's had a lot of impact on games, especially on the defensive end of the floor. And the truth is that even if he doesn't really have a lot of basketball skill, any game that he comes into, even if it's at the NBA level against the best of the best and not just in garbage time, Tacko Fall is going to have an impact on that game. And maybe it might not be a big impact because his skill set is not at the point that it's supposed to be and it doesn't really look like it's developing, but he does have some serious strengths to his game. He is 7'6", of course, and 311 pounds, and he can actually use his strength to his advantage. We've seen other players in the past get opportunities like Tacko just because they're 7'6" and 7'7", and a player like Manute Bol stands out. And he was a guy who, of course, got his opportunity just because of his height. He didn't even really know how to play basketball and still was able to make an impact at the NBA level with his great shot blocking ability, but he was also very skinny, and I would actually argue that he's not as good of an overall basketball player as Tacko Fall is. And I know it's different eras, but if Manute got a chance, I think that Tacko should, because he's actually shown some strength to his game. On the defensive end, of course, there's the rim protection and the defensive rebounding and just having the big presence on the defensive end of the floor at the rim. But offensively, we've seen in college how he actually does a pretty good job of posting up and being able to get position. He can't really put the ball on the floor, but if he does get good position inside, which could be relatively easy for him, even at the NBA level, he can still find a lot of success down there, and we've seen how he's shooting 75% from the field on low attempts, but if he can just get about 5 to 10 minutes in an NBA game at the start of maybe a second or at the end of a third quarter, he could definitely have an impact, get a few buckets for the team, posting up, getting offensive rebounds, and just being big. Him being 7'6" alone and big and strong, we've seen how he does have muscle and he does use it to his advantage a lot of the time. He can definitely have a pretty big impact on NBA games, even if he's just getting 5 minutes. Now, Tacko Fall's weaknesses is a big, long list, and that's really the problem, and that's why he's never going to be able to have a big role at the NBA level and get probably 10 plus minutes per game. I just don't see that as a realistic possibility, especially because he hasn't really been showing over the last 3 years improvement in the areas that he does need to improve on to actually become a certified NBA player. So I don't really see him at any point in his career getting over 10 minutes per game at the NBA level. But like I said, he could have a little bit of a role, but when we do look at his weaknesses, he obviously can't shoot. His free throw form is, like I said, going viral because of how weird and awkward it is. He can't shoot at all. He can't score anywhere other than right down low underneath the basket. And defensively, he's not coordinated enough to defend anywhere other than under the basket. But you see how he's really just a big, traditional big man that, of course, can't do anything else. But that could provide some good stuff for, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes per game for a team that needs kind of that size. And if he can fit into a system that way, where 5 to 10 minutes per game, he's showing that he's having an impact because the team needs what he does well, then I think Tacko could get an opportunity, and honestly should get an opportunity, because he is going to have an impact whether you like it or not. Throughout Tacko's NBA career so far, he's only gotten to a total of 37 games and only averaged about 6.2 minutes in those games, and most of the time this is in garbage time, and he's averaging about 2.2 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, almost a block per game, and 6 minutes is absolutely insane, and shooting about 67.5% from the field. And when you extrapolate these numbers out to per 36 minutes, he's definitely having a strong impact. And of course that's not exactly accurate because he's playing against weaker competition at garbage time in games, but also with what we've seen from him in the G League and in Summer League, it's no secret that his strengths are very strong. His interior scoring, his posting up down low, rebounding, shot blocking, for obvious reasons, his size. But like I said, for certain NBA teams, this could provide some value. In the G League so far in his career, he's played, like I said, with both the Celtics and Cavs G League teams, and for his career is averaging over 14 points per game, about 10.5 rebounds per game, almost 3 blocks per game, and shooting about 75% from the field. And if he can continue to show just consistently what he's providing at that level, I would be a little bit surprised if a team doesn't give him an opportunity just to play about 5 to 10 minutes per game and show what he's good at the NBA level. Now, realistically, will Tacko Fall get a chance in the NBA anytime soon? I mean, probably not, but I mean, there are some teams that are rebuilding and could use his values, like the team that he signed with in the summer league in the Utah Jazz. They're looking like they're going towards a rebuilding mode. They could potentially pick him up on a two-way deal, and any other tanking team could give him a two-way deal. We saw how both the Celtics and the Cavs did it. They definitely weren't taking teams, but they could allow him to keep playing in the G League, try to develop, and if he can't develop, I still think that eventually in the next 3 years a team is going to give him a chance in the NBA in a few minutes other than garbage time. And if he can fit in, if he can show consistently that he's still showing his strengths and having a little bit of an impact, he could settle into that role with an NBA team for a little bit. In terms of him actually having a successful NBA career, I think that's definitely a stretch, but I hope that Tacko Fall will get an opportunity. I think eventually he will, just to, like I said a million times in this video, about 5 to 10 minutes per game at maybe the start of a second quarter or the end of a third quarter. Just get an opportunity with the team to provide some entertainment for the fans and show what he's good at on the court because of his incredible size. So that's all I've got for you guys in today's video. The situation with Tacko Fall is definitely interesting. There's definitely not a lot of hype around him right now, but he is still out there. He is still looking for opportunities, and I think it would be very interesting and very fun to watch if he does get that. Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts on Tacko and if you think he's going to get a chance in the NBA anytime soon. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next video.